Everything you think you know about the Protestant Reformation is probably wrong. Luther and Calvin would walk into your average evangelical church and be horrified. Let me explain the 5 biggest myths in 2 minutes.
Myth 1. The Reformation got rid of tradition to just follow the Bible. Wrong. The Reformers kept infant baptism, the creeds, the church calendar, liturgical worship, and ordained ministers. They kept most of tradition. They just rejected stuff that contradicted Scripture, like indulgences and salvation by works.
Luther literally said, "We do not abolish the Mass." Calvin wrote hundreds of pages of church structure. They'd look at your contemporary worship service with fog machines and be like, "Where's the liturgy?" The Reformation wasn't Bible versus tradition. It was Bible and right tradition versus wrong tradition. Myth 2. The Reformation gave everyone the right to interpret the Bible however they want. No, Luther hated this idea. He wrote against radicals who said, "The Spirit told me this." Calvin had people executed for heresy. The Reformers believed Scripture was the final authority, but interpreted by qualified teachers using the historic creeds with proper training in community. They wrote massive confessions, Westminster, Heidelberg, Augsburg, specifically to say, this is what Scripture teaches. When your non-denom pastor says, "We just follow the Bible, no creeds," that's not Reformation theology, that's American individualism. The Reformers would call that heresy. Myth 3. Luther removed books from the Bible. Misleading. Those books, the Apocrypha, had debated status for centuries. Even Jerome in 400 AD questioned them. Luther followed the Hebrew canon that Jews used. And he didn't delete them. He moved them to a separate section and called them useful to read but not equal to Scripture. Actually, the Catholic Church officially added them at the Council of Trent in 1546, after the Reformation started. So who changed the Bible? Myth 4. The Reformers were all on the same team. They fought constantly. Luther and Zwingli met to unify the Reformation. They agreed on 14 out of 15 points. The one they couldn't agree on, the Lord's Supper. Luther wrote, "This is my body," in chalk and refused to compromise. They went home divided. Luther fought Erasmus about free will. He supported persecuting Anabaptists. Calvin and the Lutherans split over church government and sacraments. The denominational chaos in Protestantism? Yeah, that started on day 1. So what was the Reformation about? One question: how is a person made right with God? The answer: the 5 solas, Scripture alone as authority, faith alone for justification, grace alone saves us, through Christ alone, for God's glory alone. This wasn't about being rebels. This was about recovering the gospel. Modern evangelicalism has abandoned most of what the Reformers taught: confessions, liturgy, sacraments, theological training, church history. You want to honor the Reformation